welcome to Steampunk. This is your host, Steampunk Bob, and today we take a shot at Gunman Clive. Gunman Clive has once again exploited my weakness to Mega Man. I'm a bit wary once I know this fact, given how poorly things turned out last time I bought something based on a love of Mega Man games, but still, here we go. I'll admit, before I saw any gameplay footage, I was intrigued by Gunman Clive. The first line in the store page basically sold the game for me. In the year 18XDX. Done. I am sold. So, once I actually looked at the game, I thought it had an intriguing art style to it. In general, you and the environment are brown, bad guys tend to be blue, and things you want to touch are pink. Now, these aren't hard and fast rules, given there's green cacti in the background, but it's generally a good plan. First issue I had with the game is that the amazing 18XDX line is not actually in the game. When you start, it sums things up for you by showing Mayor Johnson's daughter being carried away, while she yells, "Help! Help!" On the other hand, if you decide to play as Ms. Johnson, the game amusingly switches the character locations, and Clive is the one being carried away, yelling for help. I guess if you're going for an intentionally thin storyline, you may as well offer it a lampshade to wear. Anyway, gameplay. It's very straightforward. In general, you go from left to right, shoot anything that isn't a new gun or a piece of birthday cake. After a while, you run into a boss, and in the Mega Man tradition, you learn their pattern and they become easy, but they're impossible before you know all their tells. On the subject of Mega Man, apparently Clive uses a revolver based on the technology of the Mega Buster, because the gun never requires reloading, and the limit to your rate of fire is the number of bullets on the screen. This is presumably intended for a retro charm, but it also has some tactical considerations, because since you don't have piercing attacks, you can have a nice risk-reward payoff by getting right in a boss's face and shooting him as fast as you can press the fire button. Gunman Clive knows it has a silly, basically non-story, so it doesn't chain itself down to having only desperados and Injuns as enemies. Got my ass kicked by a duck, shot down pelicans who are oddly far from any major body of water, and my favorite boss is the giant transforming battle robot. Okay, you don't buy that one. Fine, I guess this guy with a crank minigun is a pretty cool boss too. The best part is that his fancy gun has an inferior rate of fire to Clive. I guess because of the fact that I've stolen my gun from a super fighting robot from the year 20XX. Actually, probably from the year 2000X, given that Clive can't charge up his revolver. There's at least 3 different characters to play as. Clive, obviously, as well as Ms. Johnson, who walks slower than Clive, but has a Mario 2 Princess Hover ability. Finally, you can also, according to the achievements list, play as a duck. I don't know how the duck handles, because it needs unlocked somehow. I assume I need to beat the main game before I can be an unarmed flying death machine. The death machine thought is because, despite their being unarmed, well, being ducks, Clive takes damage from casually brushing up against ducks that walk along the ground. They're ducks! This is one old school detail I don't miss. I understand why the enemies in Super Mario Bros. Cause contact damage. There wasn't enough memory to give the enemies attack animations. But, I don't know, in modern games it just rubs me the wrong way when non-threatening looking enemies, like ducks as opposed to, say, Gordo, cause pain to our protagonist by casual contact. Can't we at least have the ducks look like they're pecking at my kneecaps or something? All told, Gunman Clive is a very simple, old-school action platformer. On the other hand, it's excellent at what it does. The gameplay is satisfying, the graphics have a neat look to them, and it has a really low price point, so that if the game looks at all interesting to you, you should grab it. Anyway, this is Steampunk Bob, out. cowboy.